Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and this video is part of a series of videos that I'm doing about preparedness for the non-prepper. I don't consider myself to be a prepper, but of course, in the past year, it's been weighing on a lot of people's minds, and you're trying to balance, how prepared should I be? What should I have on hand? What sort of things do I need to know how to do in order to be prepared for things like power outages, weather events, whether that's tornadoes or hurricanes or blizzards, whatever it is where you live. I do feel it's important to be ready for those things and to be able to take care of yourself and your family in the event that something like that is happening. Um, this video, I'll do other ones on electricity in a power outage, like solar panels, generators, things like that. And then another one on water. I already have a pantry video. You can see I'm sitting here in my pantry. Um, and that's really your basic things: electricity and light and food and water. Beyond that, you're probably okay unless it's some major event that goes on for a very extended period of time. That's my comfort level. I want to be prepared for something that might go on for a few weeks. A big reason I have so much food on hand is because we live in a rural area and getting to the store is a big hassle. So I keep a lot on hand. This video, we're going to start with what I think is the most basic level of being prepared for a power outage, and that's flashlights. We keep this bag of flashlights. We keep everything together. There's a few in other places around the house, but these are the basic ones. We are a military family. We have 9 children, so with moving and having so many people, you can imagine I don't want to keep huge amounts of stuff on hand because we have to move it, and I don't want to have a lot of stuff to have to move. So I limit myself to one like plastic tote bin for all of our lighting related items. And then we have like another bin for water related stuff and things like that. So it's really not that large of a volume of stuff, with the exception of the food, but we eat up the food before we move. So we'll start with flashlights. I keep my flashlights as the same type. I have a whole bunch of little mini Maglite flashlights. We also have a big Maglite flashlight, but that one, it takes a different size battery. I think it takes D batteries, and I don't normally have those on hand. They're also kind of an expensive battery, and it's a really heavy flashlight. These are ones that the kids can hold on to. We also have a few less expensive ones that the kids play with, and we could pull those out if we needed to. These, when they don't have the batteries, they're very lightweight. When they do have the batteries in them, like this one, it's a lot heavier, but that's okay. You just unscrew the end of it, and that's where you put the batteries. These all use AA batteries. I like to standardize what kind of batteries my flashlights use, so I'm not stocking 3 or 4 different types of batteries. There's 2 basic ones you can see from the height difference of these. This is an incandescent one. The incandescent ones are nice because they're inexpensive. If you watch the price, you can get them for about $8 or so, but the light isn't super bright. The bulb burns out more frequently, and they're not as nice of a flashlight as the LED ones, but again, they're a lot less expensive, so that's what we have most of. This is one of the LED versions. Again, it takes the AA batteries, but it's much brighter, as you can see. And with those same batteries, you'll get, even though it's a lot brighter, you'll get a lot more battery life out of this this LED one than the regular incandescent one. So we also keep batteries on hand. This is how I buy batteries. We keep, I would say, anywhere between 100 and 150 batteries on hand, but again, we've got 9 kids, and the kids have toys that use batteries and things like that, so the batteries aren't just for the flashlights, they're for all different things. The Amazon brand batteries are the ones that I think are the best value. They might not last quite as long as the name brand ones, but the price difference more than makes up for it. They're inexpensive. And this little thing is 48 batteries in here. They don't have that big like grocery store blister packaging that gets annoying to get into, and then it's a mess because it's open on the back. It's just this tidy little box, and I like that about the Amazon batteries. So moving on to candles. We have, you know, most households have some candles on hand. This is my particular special, you know, the power went out thing. It's a UCO lantern. They make these as single candles and as well as triple candle versions. They're mostly for camping. This is glass, so it does go down into the metal part. You can see this candle's almost used up. You can tell on the side there. It has a hook. You can hang it. And this is how you change out the candle. It opens from the bottom. The candles for this, they'll run you, if you buy in bulk, about 75 cents each. They have 3 kinds of candles. They have just these regular, I assume they're petroleum-based candles. And then they have a beeswax candle, which is actually really, really nice. It lasts a lot longer and it doesn't give off as much smoke, but it's hugely expensive. The beeswax candles, I think, are about $3 a piece for a candle this size, which is more than I'm willing to spend on an emergency candle. I keep, I think we have 80 candles on hand. This box contains 20 candles. And I also use this like at Christmas time if we're, you know, putting candles out or something. I'll use this. The way this is set up, the candle is encased in metal, so it burns slowly. And the nice thing about this, I don't really have a cup on hand, but we'll use this can of soup. Let's say, you know, the power's out and I just want to heat up some soup for myself. The top of this is flat, but it has areas where the air can get through to keep the flame going. You can set something on there, and I tested this with a big mug full of water. It took about 30 minutes for it to get hot. Hot like the way you would want soup to be to eat it. So you can heat stuff up. I don't recommend heating it in the can because most cans are lined, they have a plastic lining, and I don't think it's good to heat stuff in plastic. So if you dump this into, you know, a metal mug, or if it was a real true emergency and you needed to heat it in the can, then you could do that. The downside of this is the cost. The lantern, I want to say, is about $25, and the triple one is more like $30 to $40. We're gonna go to our next thing. So I have some more candles here, and these are a whole bunch of tea light candles. These are something that I would use in a situation like, you know, the power goes out and I realized that I am out of batteries, which I should have been more careful and I should have kept track of how many batteries we had, but you know, life happens and we ran out of batteries. The nice thing about tea lights, this box, these say they last 6 hours. They don't. They last more like 3 or 4. This is 200 tea lights. So just this box right here has 200 candles in it. The nice thing about these is that they each have a little metal cup, so even if they melt a little bit, they're not going to lose their shape. You can use the wax to make larger candles if that's what you want to do. This is usually a very inexpensive way to buy wax to make other candles. They have enough power to boil water if you really need them to. You're going to need between 7 and 10 candles depending on the situation, but you can actually boil water with these if you really need to, like if you need to cook something. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't use it as your backup way of cooking. Our main backup for cooking is that we have like road trip little mini ovens that we use on road trips. They plug into the 12-volt things in the cars, so if the power goes out, we can pull our cars out of the garage, run the engine for a bit. We do have some extra gasoline on hand, and we can use those to heat up some food. You can do it with candles if you really need to. So how are you going to light those candles? You need matches. You know, I forgot to bring down the regular matches, but we do have some regular short matches. We also have long matches. This is for like the fire pit. And then we have We have like these long lighters, like fireplace matches and lighters. Something I also forgot to mention, you know, we do have a grill, and it's we could heat up stuff on the grill. How else are you gonna light those candles? Well, we're going to use lighters. I buy Bic lighters. I haven't gotten into these. I'm not a smoker. No one in our household is a smoker, so we don't really use lighters on a regular basis. But I like having these on hand. I like knowing that, you know, these can sit on the shelf for 10 years and they're still going to work. And, you know, they're just right there. The only annoying thing about the lighters, particularly from, you know, a military family aspect, is that you have to hand carry these. You can't pack lighters in your in with your household goods. The movers won't take them. So our last thing, well, no, we have two more. So this is an oil lamp, and I just like this. I think it's fun. I don't think you really need one. I don't think this is a necessary thing to have. They are very fragile, particularly this part. I think it's called the chimney. It's just not very thin glass. This is an inexpensive oil lamp. They make much nicer ones. They make ones that are metal, because the biggest problem with oil lamps is that they're dangerous. You need to be right there. You should have a fire extinguisher nearby. If this tips over, you have like an oil spill and it can light on fire. If it breaks, you can have big problems. If you've ever watched like Little House on the Prairie or something like that, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, they were worried about oil lamps, but they still use them because you can see how wide this wick is compared to a candle wick, and this puts off a lot of light. You can put, I recommend using lamp oil in this, oil that's specifically sold for oil lamps. You can also use kerosene. I don't recommend using kerosene in these. It smells, it's smoky. Don't do it. We've gotten beyond that. That's what people did 150 years ago. The wick, this is how you put the wick down and back up. The wick does need to be saturated in the oil in order to light. Or, well, it'll light, but it'll burn down. You don't want to do that. You need some oil on the wick. You should, if you're actually relying on oil lamps, you should have some spare wicks, because this wick, you can see it's a maybe like 6 or 8 inch wick. It's not going to last that long if there's a real problem. Set that down very carefully. I'm going to show you. So what do you put in lamp oil? Like I was saying, what you put in the lamp, it's lamp oil. This is my favorite lamp oil. This is Firefly lamp oil, and it's a paraffin oil. Paraffin is a petroleum derived oil, like the candles are petroleum derived. This is petroleum derived. I don't know if they make a non-petroleum derived lamp oil. I don't know if that exists. The way they have like soy candles and things like that. This I think is the best lamp oil, but it's annoying. You have to order that unless you have like the oil lamp store near you, which I don't know if those exist, but you have to order that online. This is the oil that's easier to get. This is what you'll find in a craft store. And like if I just go, you know, I haven't done this in a long time because of COVID, but if you're just going into the craft store, you're looking around and you have one of those 40% off coupons that they always put out or that you can get through a text message, these run about $18, but if you can get this for 40% off, that's a pretty good deal. And this will last you easily a few hundred hours for this amount of oil. The last thing is a unique item. These are just some wicks. This is like a roll of wick that you would use like if I was, you know, really, really desperate. This is like the backup to the backup to the backup. I would put some wick, and I've tried doing this with some bacon fat. I put it in a mason jar and put a wick into it and let it solidify, and then you can use it like a candle. It smells like bacon, but it works. It's smoky, but again, backup to the backup. This is an actual product that is made. It's meant to go in a smaller jar than this, but I didn't have one handy. this is an oil lamp wick, sorry. It's usually sold as an olive oil lamp. You don't need olive oil. You can use like any kind of cooking oil. It can be used cooking oil if you don't mind the smell of it. It can be oil that's gone rancid, actually. But you put it in a jar. Again, this is not the correct jar for this. And it kind of stands up in there. This is way too big a jar. It stands up in there. You fill the oil almost to the wick, and then you can light the wick and have a little oil lamp that way. So that is everything that we use in case of a power outage if we were not using our generator and we just needed some light. We didn't think that the power would be out very long. This is the selection of things that we would use, and thank you for watching.